out loud said, "What the And this is when I grabbed my water and my snack. I said, I must go upstairs because I can no longer read around people.
Her silly little self does it while no one's in the water and tries to die.
Yep.
Tries to die a lot, actually.
She actually does.
Hopped up off the couch, hopped over the side of this couch, and then like crouched behind it and was like peeking. I was like, oh my god, poor Zendaya. And just like, oh my god.
Poor Zendaya is crazy.
See, I like the movie significantly better than the book. I hated Dune.
I've read
Well, I take that back. I didn't hate Dune. I didn't like it as much as most people.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Bailey.
And these are our book boyfriends. Today we are talking about a book that was highly requested by some friends of mine. They actually force-fed us this book by providing us copies of it. It is Variation by Rebecca Yarros. It's her latest contemporary. Yeah, that's what we're covering today.
Yeah. Not only bought you a signed copy.
Yes, I do. I have a
You
signed
have the queen's
copy.
signature.
I have her signature in here. Yes.
Not in the series that matters, though.
I mean, this book was good. It's not fourth wing, but it was good.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
It's really good. No, I'm very, very happy. They got this for me for a graduation present, actually. So I'm very, very grateful for this book. And it was really good, as we will talk about in this podcast, because I'm pretty sure we both really liked it. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
So we're going to spoil it. So if you haven't read it, this is your warning. We're going to talk about everything that happens in it.
Yep.
This one's pretty juicy. This is one, if I think you want to read it, I would not watch this. Like some other ones, I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
Yeah.
But this is not one of those.
No, definite spoilers. Like, the plot actually matters in this book.
Yeah.
It's not like some of our other romances where it's just like really fluffy, really lovey, and there's like,
interchangeable with everything else.
yeah, literally. This one actually has like depth to it. I was very impressed with this one, actually. Yeah, it was refreshing almost after some of the fluffy.
Right. So obviously you read it and enjoyed it a lot. Would you rate it?
It's actually a 5-star for me.
Wow.
No notes. No
notes.
There is one part that I'm sure we'll get to eventually. I'm not gonna, it's like right off the gate. I'm not
What?
I'm talking about it right off the gate, so I'm not going to say it exactly. But there was a moment, I'm reading on the couch. My roommate, Brody, is watching a movie in the living room, and I literally stood up.
Oh my gosh.
I had to pace. I like put the book down, like I'm like walking and pacing. I go to my kitchen. I finish the rest of the chapter, and I said, fucking shit. And I come around the corner, and Brody's like,
you good?
I said, I've never had such a visceral reaction from a book. I have to read this upstairs. And so I grabbed my drink and my snack that I had.
Was that last night?
And I went upstairs. Yeah, it was last night. I mean, it was...
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but...
Shook it.
I also forgot, before I would talk about the book in too much depth, I wanted to ask. It's like the end of February, once again, so I didn't know if you had any... books you really enjoyed, books you DNF'd, books,
so
not enjoyed too much.
I obviously read this one this month.
Okay.
I actually don't know if I finished any other ones. I've picked up a bunch. I'm really bad about this, and I talked about this, I think, a couple episodes ago, where if I put all of my energy into one book, as much energy as I put into the 5 that I'm currently reading, I would have knocked it out by now. So I actually don't know if I finished another book. I keep getting them mixed up. The Anna Wong's, the Twisted series. Is it Twisted?
I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I started the second one, and I was listening to the audiobook. I have some beef with it. Okay. It's the same audiobook narrators as the first audiobook, but it is different characters.
Crime. Straight to jail.
Hire somebody else because there was no inflection differences. They did not try to sound like a different character. So I was like, and it's Aiden Snow, which I love.
Yeah. We all know we love. I've only literally listened to the one book by him.
No, but his voice came on. I said, is this Aiden Snow?
You're like, go.
I knew it was him.
Well, I'll have to listen to the first one,
book,
maybe.
Yeah. And so I was a little peeved off, but the hold ran out, and I
You're like, I'm not tripping.
I had like an hour left in it. I was like,
Only an hour, Caitlin?
yeah. So I re-downloaded it since then because I was going to, on my drive home tonight, I'll finish it tonight. So that will be a book that I finish. The second one, whatever it's called, Twisted Blankety Blank. But no, I like ran out. I said, meh. But then I logged into Libby today and it was like, this book has been returned. Pick up where you left off. And I was like, oh, whatever. And I just, it was a click of a button, not a lot of effort. So I'll finish it, but that'll be like a 2-star. Unless the last hour is like knock your socks off crazy.
Maybe a 3?
Maybe a 3.
Yeah.
But I just am so not interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks because there's more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't know if I've read anything else.
Joe, you?
I'll go last.
Okay.
Oh, is he trying to show us up again?
No.
Listen.
I don't think so. I think my favorite book was Crown of Midnight, the second Throne of Glass book. I'm really feeling some fantasy right now, so
I need to pick up something.
Read it in like 2 days. It was so good.
I know.
I'm gonna force you to read Throne of Glass now. It's completed, so no complaints.
No, I know.
You can't even complain this time.
I know, and it's on KU, isn't it? Didn't you get it on KU?
No, I bought.
You bought them?
The ebook, but you also have fucking access to that. But don't fuck up my shit.
I'm not gonna
Just
fuck up
make
your
sure it's
shit.
like, do you want to go to this location?
No.
Yeah. But yeah, it's on my Kindle app
Gotcha.
because I bought the bind up, which was really cool. It's like, I think maybe less than $30, if I remember right.
No, yeah, when you told me about it, I think you said it was like $24 for all of them. And I was like, that's a steal. Like, literally, that's like $3 a book.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
bought that, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, so it's all one
It's like a 9,000 page. Not really. I don't actually know what it is. But it's very disheartening when I'm like reading and it's like, you're 10% done. And I'm on the second book and it's like, you're 10%.
I was like, what do you mean? I'm not gonna catch up to you. That's insane. But if it's one bind up, yeah, never mind. I'll pass. Cause that'd be too much.
Like keeping track?
Yeah.
I see. Once I'm done, maybe.
Yeah.
But I would love to finish it this year. That'd be iconic.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I will.
Yeah. That's a lot.
They're huge. But I mean, the first 2 I read them in a few days. Like I've just busted through them because they're so good. So we'll see. If I keep that shit up, I might.
Yeah.
I started the third one. Or the
Oh my
prequel.
gosh.
I started the prequel.
Yeah, when you texted me that you were finished with it, I was like, what the flip? You just started that.
I was like not sleeping. Like normally I'd go to bed at, I work nights, so I go to bed at like 8, 9 a.m., usually the latest. I think it was like 10:30, 11. I'm like laying there like, and I'm like gasping, and Joe came in there at one point. I was like, I'm reading my book. It's good. Because I'm like in there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that when it causes like an actual, because I'm telling you, like that part in the book, I literally was like, and I like stood up. I like could not sit still anymore. I was like, no, Jesus.
What I did that too recently, Joe and I watched Dune, the movies. They're so good.
They're so good.
So good.
I was just talking about those books today with Demi and Ann. I was like, I want to finish this series this year. Like I want to bust it out.
See, I like the movie significantly better than the book. I hated Dune.
I read
I take that back. I didn't hate Dune.
I was about to say.
I didn't like it as much as most people.
I've read the first book 3 times.
What?
I have. I've read the first book 3 times because it is so good to me. It's almost like a comfort read at this point. It's so freaking
Joe
good.
said it like skips the action.
What does?
Dune, the book. Everything action-wise in the movie, or like all the middle portions between like the end of part 1, the beginning of part 2, don't exist in the book. It's implied.
It is highly implied. You're right. It talks more about his success. But in the movie, it's just like montage scenes.
I didn't like the beginning of the second one.
I liked it way better.
I liked the second. I did like it, but the very beginning of the second, where it was just like flashes of what's happening, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, he's here, now we're here, now we're here. Like, how did we get here? And Joe's like, it's trying to emulate like the passage of time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, to me personally, I didn't feel like it translated very well.
That was the thing I
was very
trying
choppy.
to say is like in the book, that middle section is like a long period of time.
Yes, it is. And it's so long.
Like in the movie, they're trying to portray it as like he's like becoming a Fremen, but it's hard to show that passage of time without a specific thing that happens in the book that they didn't do in the movie. So
also, I don't think this might be. I'll just keep that in. Never mind, it might be a spoiler. But anyway,
I don't want to spoil it.
Fucking loved it. But at the end of the second one, you know, when things are happening, mostly between Florence Pugh and our main character, their combo. I literally hopped up off the couch, hopped over the side of this couch, and then like crouched behind it and was like peeking. I was like, oh my god, poor Zendaya. And just like, oh my god.
Poor Zendaya is crazy.
I was like, oh my god.
No, I was literally just talking about this today. I am not going to be happy with the time jump that they do for the third movie because of all of the stuff that happens in the book that they're going to have to skip over inevitably because they introduced a character too early, in my opinion. Yeah. And I'm not going to say more than that because it will. There's no way to talk about it without spoiling it. But I talk about it all the time. Anytime Dune's brought up, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not happy about the time jump that they're about to do. I'm just not. Yeah,
there's a very specific moment, at least in the first book, or like sequence of events that kind of portrays a timeline change that, like, in the movie, it's like, oh, so this just all happened back to back. How are we getting to the next portion?
Yeah, and because they both are so young looking, like the actors, that also doesn't help with like the passage of time because they look like babies, you know, like they just have the fountain of youth in them. So,
I do want to read it though because I fucking. I mean,
the first book is great. I can't. I mean, there's 6 of them, so they all have to be amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that many. Jesus.
Yeah, there's like 3 main ones, and then there's like 3 others.
Okay.
I think it's like Messiah, and then Children of Dune, and then the rest.
Those are the only 2 I've seen. Anyway, we got off track quick. But if you haven't watched those movies, if you like sci-fi, I highly recommend it. They're great movies,
and they're Oscar nominated. And before,
I know the second one was. The first?
Yeah, the second one. And right now, where we are in time currently, we have not seen the Oscars yet. So I'm excited to see what they win from their nominations.
Me too.
Yeah.
Also, in the second one, I was not prepared. I knew Austin Butler was in it, but like, what a crazy part for him. Like, he did great, don't get me wrong, but I was like, not.
I actually think he did that character really well. Maybe we should talk about Dune. If y'all want an episode on Dune, you let me know.
You let me know.
You let me know.
No one said we had to stay in romance.
No. Hey, Timothée Chalamet can be a book boyfriend. Paul Atreides.
Yeah, I know. I told Joe while we were watching, I was like, honestly, I could easily be persuaded into this cult. Like, if he's the leader, I'm in.
Actually,
when he was in the second one where he was like chanting and shit after, I was like, honestly, I would be in. I would be in.
I would follow him to death. Death. I actually, the other day on the couch, I looked at Aaron because he just did, Timothée Chalamet did a shoot with W magazine, I think is what it was. I don't even fucking know. I don't keep up with that shit, but it showed up on my feed because I follow him.
Yeah, you're obsessed with him.
And I said, Aaron, I love you so much. But this man, I was like, look at this shit.
I'm excited to see the Bob Dylan movie now.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't like a huge fan. Like, I know who he is, obviously.
Yeah.
But watching Dune, I was like, wow, he's so good. And now I've started seeing like previews and stuff.
I've actually not seen him in anything else.
Wonka is also really fucking good, but it's a musical, so like prepare yourself. But like,
I don't fuck with musicals.
He's a theater kid, so
I know he is.
I loved it. I loved it.
I knew he was a theater kid.
Yeah. No, I love him.
I want to watch Little Women. I haven't seen it.
I told myself I would not watch it until I read the book, and Lord knows me and my TBR.
Never gonna happen.
Probably not gonna happen. I'm probably just gonna have to fold and watch it anyway. Yeah. But I'm, yeah. Oh, I love him. Anyways.
My least favorite book.
Oh yeah, let's get back on.
Was a book I DNF'd.
I'm so proud of you for DNFing.
Thank you. It's not a strong trait of mine.
I persuaded you. That's all I'm going to say.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know about persuaded, but... So, I'm in a book club. I mentioned it before, but the book we were reading this month was Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I started it after finishing Variation, actually. And I was like, I just was not in the mood
Yeah.
But I had also read 3 romance books right before that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much that was a part of it, but I was just like, I cannot read enough. Like, I don't give a fart about these characters, first of all. I don't know if that would change if I, like, hadn't read.
Yeah.
Because right now I feel a seething hate for it. In the 16% I read, like, I could talk about it for a hot minute, and I barely even started it.
You're one of those Goodreads reviewers.
I didn't review it, but honestly, that one I could. Like, that is the hate I feel for it at this time. Like, it's bad. I don't know what it is. I must have just been in a mood because obviously Flawless I really enjoyed, so had high expectations, but from the jump I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I was like, these are...
Do you want to give us the premise? Like,
oh, yeah.
Without spoilers?
This is in the first chapter, so I don't think it's a spoiler. So the main guy, he has a best friend. He, since childhood, has been, like, into his little sister. So it's one of those things, which is fine.
So the boy fell first?
I don't know. I think she liked him, too. She was younger. She probably had a crush on him. I didn't get that far.
Okay.
But you can just kind of tell they're weird. He moves back to this town. He grew up. His dad was, like, a famous guitarist in a rock band or some shit. So they, like, on their, like, summer... It's kind of like one of those, like, the summer vacation, they'd go to this little town. And his best friend, that's how he met him. And so him as an adult, he's moving back to that town to, like, permanently live there because he's like, that's the only place I've ever been happy kind of thing. He's this big guy in music. He wants to build, like, a production studio situation there. So he buys a house and then a barn. So he opens up, he's in the barn trying to clean it up because he wants to renovate the barn and make it like his production studio situation for people to come out. Cool. He's like, it starts off, his best friend's like, look at you, you made the hottest billionaire kind of thing, like, whatever. So you're like, okay, he's a billionaire, great. He then proceeds to, like, in his, like, inner monologue, he's, like, cleaning up this barn. He's like, I'm gonna, whatever it's called, renovate this barn. And he was like, I'm gonna do it myself because just because I have the money doesn't mean I need to spend it. Which I feel like is them trying to portray him as, like,
relatable,
non-flashy, down to earth, but I'm like, you're just hoarding your fucking wealth like a piece of shit. Like, have $1 billion, you're gonna keep it instead of hiring a man who depends on income to feed his fucking family. And I'm supposed to like that is the seed I have. Like, that's the anger. It was uncalled for.
Honestly, when you put it like that, like, that's a valid opinion.
I was like, what?
You would rather do something that you have no experience doing all by yourself and take away the opportunity from an entire crew who could do it for you that needs the money like that? No, like, that makes sense.
Also, it'd get done faster, hands down. It'd get done better, hands down. You have the fucking money.
Yeah.
Like me, I would have to probably do it by hand because I don't have the money to pay 10 men to come do it for me.
Yeah, but I'd be cutting down the trees myself.
Yeah. So, like, I was like, okay. I was complaining about it to someone who finished it. They were like, he does hire someone. I'm like, great. But, like, it still just pissed me off. This is also still in the first chapter, right? He's sweeping up the barn. This little girl, I think she's 12, knocks on the door. He's like, weird. Okay, like, I wasn't expecting anyone. Opens the door, and she's like, hey, you're my dad. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it was just, Daisy, quit. Anyway, she then proceeds to be like, he was like, no, like, I'm not. I haven't, no. And she was like, did you ever donate sperm? And he did in college, which is another thing that pissed me off. He likes to say he, like, paid his way through life while his dad is a rich musician. And he's like, I came here by myself. I did this. You know, it kind of gave the vibes of the last offer or whatever by Lauren Asher. That girl in there was like, I got this bakery myself. I did all the work, as she's dating this rich guy who bought the building for her. That's what it was giving.
Yeah.
Like, I'm self-proclaimed, as you have your rich daddy's name, as he paid for your college. I'm sure you had a fine upbringing in a nice private fucking school.
Yeah.
Do not even fucking act like you got here by yourself. First of all. So then he's like donating sperm to make money because, you know, he can't, whatever. Then this little girl this part blew my mind. This little girl goes, hey, like, you're my dad. She was adopted or whatever, sperm made. How they do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember what it's called.
IVF?
Sure. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Sperm donor baby. There it is.
Yeah, okay.
Her dad died of cancer. Her mom is in a very deep depression, won't get out of bed, blah, 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 blah. So she, like, talked to a school counselor about getting her mom help. When I tell you this is all still the first, like, 2 chapters. She wants to get her mom help to, like, go get admitted to a facility for her depression because it's that bad, which is so sweet of her. But the counselor was like, you'll be put into foster care because you don't have a caregiver. So this is the girl's way around it. She goes to her sperm donor daddy and says, hey, you're my dad. Will you emergency kinship take me in so my mom can go get help for her depression? He goes, yeah, let's go talk to her. No. I was like, I'm done. No. First of all, you couldn't do that. You sign your rights away when you do that.
Yeah.
You actually couldn't even do that legally in real life, social work. You could not actually do that, I don't think.
I don't know, also, but that sounds extremely...
If Joe's sperm donor, that I don't think he did, baby came to the door, Joe's not going to be like, yeah, come on in.
You're like,
let's go, boo. Like, that's crazy. You're going to give me... I'm going to need a minute.
Yeah,
he's like, no, let's go talk to your mom right now. Let's do it.
I need some paperwork and some tests.
No one's that good of a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 qualms and the 16% I finished.
Yeah, those are pretty valid.
I was like, I'm done.
I can see how angry you are.
I am.
Yeah, she got like teary-eyed there for a second.
It was just dumb. And like someone who's read some other ones of the series, because I think at least 2 are out, if not 3. The 3rd one might be coming out soon. But she was like, yeah, they're all single dad books. I'm like, he's not a fucking single dad. So that also pissed me off. I didn't even know that part. And I found that out later.
Oh, this is considered a single daddy romance? That's crazy.
He did not raise that child. He's just billionaire sheltering her for a little bit. So those are my several qualms. Read it at your own risk. Do not recommend at this time.
Yeah. No, that sounds like not fun.
Anywho, we'll talk about variation now.
I
feel like that was our book.
Talk.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, sorry. I asked you for. I did ask. You just denied. You'd comment at that time.
Yeah. So the first book I finished is probably my favorite. I read Words of Radiance. I finished that beginning of the month.
Oh, okay.
On my reread of the series to get to Wind and Truth. I am now on Edge Dancer, I think. Yeah. I haven't read that one. That's like the in-between book. Mm-hmm. And then, in secret, I read Variation.
What? No, you fucking didn't. What? The whole thing?
That's epic! He said in secret? Joe, that's fucking epic! Are you serious?
And this is what happens when I work nights and I never see Joe ever.
He's been holding that in for so long. He said in secret.
Because I literally asked you the other day if you read anything and you said no. That's why I thought you were being weird.
I read it before both of you. Bailey was trying to talk to me about it, and I had already finished the book at that point. So I was trying so hard not to say anything. I know this is like a weird, like, nice thing, but it also fucking terrifies me. You can hide something from me like that extensively and for that long. Like, that's where my brain's going. Like, you sneaky fuck. I 100% thought you knew that I was lying because I was like, I'm not lying well.
Bro, you sold me. I just believe you inherently. I'm like, okay.
She would be like talking about a plot point. I'm like, yeah, that sounds crazy.
I need some water.
It's like you just didn't give a fuck about what I was saying.
Oh my god, Joe, that's fucking epic.
So you cracked that book open before I did, and I didn't know she was soiled.
Yeah.
Damn. I thought I was like freshly opening her like a new book.
I deflowered her.
Like, that is crazy.
I'm so happy. This is
Well, perfect, Joe. You give us the whatever it's called, the overview. What did you think of it? What did you rate it? You didn't put
it was pretty good. I actually enjoyed most of it. There's some parts I didn't like, which I'm sure we can talk about, and a specific character, but probably like 3.5, 4. Like, it wasn't bad.
Nice.
I'm like sweating still.
I did want to get to the end. I did want to know what happened.
Yeah, I felt like
the plot was really good.
It was so good.
There's some parts where I was like, I wish, like, it was more just regular fiction than the romance part.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's certain plot points where I was like, this would be really good if it was, like, fleshed out as, like, a literary fiction thing.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no, this book was more like literary fiction with romance rather than just romance. I think that's another reason why I liked it so much. Because there was actual plot. Wow. I'm shocked.
Me too.
This is amazing.
Stunned. I don't know how you did that.
Whoa, she's like questioning everything right now.
Like, you know that meme where it's like the math? That's what my brain is doing. Like, when the fuck?
So, like, I need to know, like, the logistics of you sneaking this around. So, like,
I work 3 nights a week. He just sits on, like,
I know,
I'm
but,
assuming
like,
it's
did you
while I was
put
at
the
work.
book back? So, like, you just, like, cataloged what book page you were on?
Kept a note of the page or whatever.
I would have fucked up. I would have left it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have left it out. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, super cool. So, anyways, we can actually
That's crazy.
Like, talk about the book. We can actually like talk, all 3 of us. Oh my god, this is amazing. Do you have a synopsis?
No, Joe can do it.
I can't do it that well. You should give the synopsis.
Okay.
Because you wrote it out. So
I didn't write the synopsis. These are just my notes as I read.
You usually have a synopsis.
Yeah, I wasn't that prepared this time.
That's okay.
I instead read Crown of Midnight instead of preparing.
I guess I could try.
Okay.
So we have 2-ish main characters, Hudson and
Allie.
I forgot her name. It's been a while since I read it.
Yeah, apparently.
Wow.
So Allie is a ballerina, and she's a part of these 4 sisters and a mother that are really famous within the ballerina space. And Hudson lives in the town where they summer resident, I guess you could say. And there's like this big competition that takes place that's kind of like the main arc of the actual story. But starting out, Hudson has this weird dream of being in the Coast Guard as a rescue person. And he meets her, saving her. And her sister, they were taking a boat out really young. It was really stupid. But he ends up saving her as he's like training as a kid also. So you start really far in the past. Yeah. And then
they're probably like 16.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. I think they're both like 16, yeah. And you get at the end of the very first chapter, Hudson's like, she was like my favorite person or something. We're best friends for that summer and the next. And then, or she hated me by the end of the next summer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get a chapter that is from Allie's perspective of a car wreck, and stuff happens and she can't really remember, and you get tidbits of something that goes wrong and her sister dying in this car wreck. And then we jump forward to adult life.
Yep.
10 years later.
Basically follow her after an injury and coming back to the hometown to recover and running back into Hudson, and some other things happen with a kid. I don't know how detailed you want me to go.
You're good.
Yeah. I'll go there.
No, that's a good
synopsis.
That's a good synopsis.
Yeah.
That is a good synopsis. So when I first started reading this, I was a little scared that it was going to be like some of the other romance books that we've read. It's a small town romance. Some shit happens. Somebody dies and they can't forgive the other.
I feel like it was a lot like
it was
Every Summer After.
Yeah.
Love in Other Words, but it was done differently. But I feel like it is a second chance. There is some like the childhood friends. We do get a little bit of the past, not near as much as the rest. Like we get the one main, like them meeting as kids. Then we get the one that Joe said, like a year. It's like 15 months later. The car wreck that happens at the end of the next summer, like the bad thing that happens. And then then the rest is now.
Yeah.
And like we slowly find out the past sort of
That
through the
that was
present.
the one downside I thought is like I feel like it needed some of those past scenes to kind of like build up.
Yeah, I can see that. Because we didn't get anything of their friendship, really.
Not really, no.
No, it was just like so understood. But I
very
think
implied.
like because it was dual POV, if we had dual POV and multi timeline, like that would have been a lot.
Yeah.
So I did like how it started off because it was kind of like a mystery aspect of it too. Like, okay, what actually happened? Like what led to this series of events or whatever. But from the beginning, you know that they're both still in love with each other. Like from the beginning, because she talks about the empty seat that she always has reserved for him. Like if he ever showed up at will call, he would always have a seat to every single one of her performances, which were the tissues, like right off the gate. And then obviously Hudson was like in love with her because he talked about the regret that he had literally anytime he talked about Allie.
Yeah.
It was like how much regret he had. So you knew that they loved each other. It was just like shaking them the whole time to be like, shut the fuck up and just talk, you know? A lot of our books are like that. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they're all, I mean, she had a weird mental block.
Yeah.
For a valid reason.
Totally.
So after her car wreck and her sister dying, she's in the hospital injured. She, like, mangles her foot, which there's no fucking way she'd come back as a ballerina after that, I don't think.
I don't think they said it was mangled. I think she tore her Achilles, and that was the crux of her tearing it again.
Yeah, but after 2 Achilles tears, you think you'd be coming back? You think your foot would be able to do that shit still? I
don't know. I mean, the human body is amazing.
Don't. But good for her. Also, it's fake. But
it is fictitious.
After she was like in the hospital for God knows how long after this wreck, and he never came and visited. He never wrote to her. He never called her. And then I think it was like a week or something after this wreck, he went off to basic Coast Guard training situation. So they never saw each other again.
Yeah. For like what? Like 11 years? Is that what it was?
10 or 11.
10 years later. So the very first chapter is 11 years ago when they met.
Oh, okay.
Then it literally just jumps to
the next summer.
Wreck, and then it, by her perspective, and then it jumps. So we don't know where the hell he was. And then it jumps to the current where we're at. And I think it's still her perspective, but.
Yeah, it starts in Allie's with her accident. Or not accident, but injury.
Yeah, that's
so
what I thought.
she's like.
Oh, on the stage doing her.
She's like.
Badassery.
She's doing some complicated maneuver.
Turn, yeah.
And like we start that chapter, we get introduced to her younger sister, which we technically got introduced in the first chapter, but Eva.
I called her Ava, but
and then was Anne also in that chapter?
I think she was there watching. She was probably sitting with the mom.
Okay. And so she's like doing this complicated movement, and we get told that she pretty much doesn't take any rest days. And like she's already somewhat hurt, and everybody's like, "You need to take a rest." And she does this complicated maneuver, ends up blowing her Achilles in front of her mom, who is like
a fucking bitch,
awful person. Yeah,
definition of awful.
And yeah, that's how that chapter ends. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it was because it even talks about like her screaming, like not even realizing that she was screaming and just like screaming. And imagine being in the audience.
Because she said at first, like the audience thought that's what she was supposed to do. Like she was on the last turn when it snapped, and so she fell. And it probably took a second for the pain to hit her. But everyone thought at first like that was the move, like
the execution.
Yeah. And then they didn't realize until she started screaming in pain that like, oh no, she hurt herself. Great.
And part of that is
can you imagine? Oh my God.
Part of that is the reason she like trips up is she thinks she sees Hudson in that spot or in the place.
Crowd. Yeah. So obviously she still is obsessed with him too. I really liked crying over there already. I liked how it was written. Like I feel like kind of like you said at the end of the first chapter where it was like, and by the next summer she hated me. I feel like every chapter ended like what, and like I just was super compelled to keep reading because of the way the chapters were ended. I was like,
anytime I put the book down, it was reluctantly. It was like, okay, I have to get on with life, or like, okay, like I read a lot while I was out. like at coffee shops or like at restaurants or whatever. And so I'd be like, okay, I got to put the book down so I can talk to like this person. But no, every time I put it down, it was reluctant. Like it was so good. Yes, very good. So the bit with the kid is like the Hudson's sister, Caroline, adopts a child, Juniper. Caroline had a husband who has, in the book, recently passed away from cancer. So Caroline is extremely overprotective of her adopted daughter, Juniper. And Hudson obviously loves Juniper, and Hudson and Caroline have a brother, Garrett. Is that his name?
Gavin.
I'm really bad at names.
He's my favorite.
Same.
Really?
I love Gavin.
That is so funny. I didn't care for him.
He's fucking hilarious.
He is funny. He is like the comic relief of the book. So
yeah, he is.
Gavin's the oldest, Hudson, and then Caroline? Or is
don't know there.
Is Caroline the middle?
Caroline's the oldest, I think.
Oh, is she?
I think Hudson's the middle
she's
child.
giving elder daughter.
Oh, I thought
daughter.
Gavin was older than Hudson.
He is.
He is older.
Gavin's
He's like
older.
Lena,
Yeah.
the
maybe
sister
she's
that died.
Maybe she's younger. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. It doesn't.
I just know Gavin's
actually matter.
older than Hudson.
Yeah, Gavin is older than Hudson because Gavin had a thing for Lena, the oldest Rousseau sister, the one who passed away in the car wreck. And he had a thing with Lena before Hudson met Allie. So he was like, bro, don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
I know this shit
it's like.
sucks. Like,
Yeah.
don't do it. So they both were in love with Rousseau girls. So anyways, Juniper, she's adopted, but she shows up at Allie's house and she's like, you're my mom. And Allie's like,
No.
literally, babe, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And Hudson's like, Juniper, what the fuck? And,
yeah.
And
So she takes Hudson over there under the
Yeah.
guise of like, I want to be a ballerina. I know you know this ballerina. Introduce me to her.
yeah.
And he was like, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Which
because
is
she shows him the picture
of them in the past.
of them in the past.
Yeah,
And they're like,
sneaky little bitch. She acted like a teenager for what, 8? Well, how
She
old
was
was she?
10.
10.
Damn.
Yeah, they talk about like how like, oh my God, like she's gonna be trouble.
She already is.
so
Hot
much
damn.
Yeah.
already.
And like she basically baits Hudson into doing this because like Hudson comes from his job and Juniper's like basically like you have to do this because Caroline refuses to let her be anywhere associated with ballerinas.
Yeah, she hates
And, like,
ballerinas because of this little town has a very high class ballerina school. All the rich girls come, but like no locals really go there because it's too expensive. It's there, so she has just like a bad taste in her mouth about ballerinas in general from something that happened in her youth too. She worked at a restaurant in the town. The youngest Rousseau, was a bitch to her in this cafe, so now she just hates all of them. Like even when they were young, she was like hated the Rousseau family. So
Juniper, being the manipulative little child that she is, gets her uncles to do all her dirty work.
oh my God, she
And-
got them
Literally.
around her finger.
And like,
Yeah.
it's
Both
like,
of them, she's like, watch out, watch out.
Yeah, and they don't know how whipped they are
They're so
with
whipped.
each other because we find out later that the other uncle was taking her to dance classes in a different
week.
town
Yeah.
every week. So she was getting dance lessons and she convinced Hudson to introduce her to one of the most well-known ballerinas of his time. And she's like, eventually she ends up freaking learning from her too, and she's like double dipping. So she's not double dipping; she's like triple dipper from fucking Chili's up in this bitch. Like she's having her cake and eating it too.
And their poor mom don't know shit.
Poor mama don't know
So
shit.
her guys to Hudson though was like, well, if we meet her and then she's not, whatever. She wanted to go over to tell her mom, but then when she was like, no, she was like, okay, well then you two fake date and bring her around my mom so she'll like the Russos again and she'll let me be a ballerina. Like it was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? And they were like, okay.
Yeah, I know. Like it made sense, but it also like didn't at the same time. But
yeah, you're like,
'Cause they
this
secretly are
kid
like,
made this like
okay.
elaborate plan to make her mom like
The Russos.
The Russos. And she's like, the adults in this situation are like, I guess, this kind of makes sense. We like each other, but we're not going to say it out loud at this point.
Yeah.
no, yeah, they really just wanted an excuse to fake date.
Yeah.
So it was second chance, fake date, all the tropies. All my favorites knocked into one.
Yeah, there
my
was a
favorites.
lot of tropes going on here.
Yeah, there was.
Even a one bed thrown in.
And they fucking rubbed it in your face. She was like, oh, we survived through one bed trope. I'm like, you don't have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Like,
we know.
We know. But I know it's supposed to be like comical, but I was like, I hate when they like state the tropes that they're in.
Yeah.
I'm like, leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
We can read it.
You actually don't know about books in your world.
Yeah.
They don't exist.
They don't
You're
exist.
in a book, you don't have books.
Tropes don't exist. No, exactly.
Well, I feel like they figure out fairly quickly. I thought like that was gonna be part of the mystery, like figuring out Juniper's mom. No.
Oh, yeah.
They fucking give that shit to you like within the first 100 pages.
Well, yeah, I mean, because then she like looks at her and she's like,
the
oh my
next
God.
the
yeah,
next chapter.
I was like, well, hot damn.
Yeah.
Well, it's the only one that makes sense because the other two are like, no. Would be like, no, I haven't had a child.
It is a woman, you know,
Yeah.
so a woman can be like, no, you weren't in me.
Yeah.
You know,
Don't
like,
recall that.
And don't recall that one.
Birthing you. Turns out it was their oldest sister, Lena, who'd passed away in the car wreck.
Yeah.
Obviously. I
And they
think
had
she'd
no
had the
idea.
baby that spring,
Yeah.
and then she died at the end of the summer. She may have had that baby late spring. Well, we know Juniper's birthday. I don't recall it.
Me neither.
Or very early summer. And then Lena died that late,
Oh, yeah.
mid-August-ish.
They like always celebrate her birthday over like Memorial Day weekend or something.
Yeah.
So it's like
I remember.
before then. And I think it's
Okay.
in May. It's Memorial Day in May.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good.
So yeah, she was born in May.
Yeah.
Mom died in August.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
That is fucking
But
crazy.
the big mystery through the whole book is who's the daddy?
Who the daddy?
Who that daddy? So we got a little mystery, well, from that.
Yeah, so we're like trying to convince Mommy Caroline to let little baby Mystery Russo become a ballet dancer.
Oh my gosh. It was so painful to like hear Caroline shit on Rousseau's the whole time.
It actually was.
Because at one point Hudson says, you're going to regret that here in a bit. You're going to regret those words
Yeah.
soon enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah, but we don't know until we
know.
know. And then you're like,
But we knew she was a Rousseau when he
Oh.
was saying that.
no, we don't know about why.
I understand. No, I get it. Yeah.
No, actually, all of the mystery components, like, they actually got thrown together real fucking good
Yeah,
in this
no, it
one.
was
Like,
good.
when the, like, jaw-dropping moments happen, it was just like, oh, like, actually, that explains this. That accurately explains this.
Correct.
That makes fucking sense. Like, it made sense. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. She did so good. 5 stars. So good, bro. The last 100 pages were insane.
I know when you were saying you were going to finish it last night, I was like, the end's crazy. So
Yeah.
enjoy.
It was crazy. And when I texted you, like, I can't wait to talk about this book, I hadn't even hit the craziest part yet. Finding out who Daddy was. Oh. Do we want to talk about that now or we want to
Sure.
wait?
I do
No.
want to say, like,
No.
she tried to throw it off
I
in the
don't want
very
to.
beginning. Like, Anne pulls Hudson aside really early.
Oh my God, yeah.
And, like, hints that Hudson might be involved with
Lena.
in some capacity. So, like,
I know.
the father
Gotcha.
aspect of the book is very, like, ooh, what's going on?
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I kind of like was kind of rooting for it being Garrett or Gavin, whatever the fuck his name was. I kind of was.
Honestly, I thought it was.
And I thought that's why she got placed with Caroline was because
Same.
eventually he would grow up and be capable and like he would be available or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I still don't quite understand how Juniper ended up with Caroline. Like, did the mommy? I mean, like this is.
I'm assuming Lena had put in to adopt, like was already in with adoption agencies because like
Yeah, and so Caroline's
that would
name
work
just
any
came
other way.
up. Like, how would?
no, Lena chose Caroline because of Gavin and Hudson.
But did Caroline know it was Lena's kid?
No.
So how would so Caroline was looking to adopt at the same time Lena was offering
Must
up
have
her
been.
baby? That's too good. Like
Yeah.
that's
I know.
too good.
It says
know, but-
Caroline, because you get this towards the end when they Juniper's like performing, is like Caroline didn't know who it was, and that was the stipulation is that they couldn't know until Juniper was 18.
Yeah.
And
Caroline
wanted-
has to be older then because if they were 16, 11 years ago, 15 months later, he was going to
you're so
basic
right.
at 18 and she's adopting a baby.
Yeah. No.
So
You're so
Caroline
right.
has to be older or that's fucking crazy.
You're so right. And she would have been married at that point too.
And had to have been trying for
So
a while,
she's
I'd
the
assume.
oldest.
Has to be,
way
right?
older probably.
We're just going to assume.
Yeah.
If not, she is. Sorry. I was just mathing in my head, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Yeah. She was 17, adopting a baby?
No, yeah. No, that does make sense. Yeah. No, I like don't even know like what parts to talk about. It's so good. I think the last 100 pages really, I mean, the whole thing was really good. And then obviously the I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I really liked
this was good.
it.
I mean, like, obviously this was good in this. Let's talk about Mommy.
I'm so sorry.
The mom was crazy. I wrote in here somewhere.
So
her mom is
sad.
the devil. Where did I write? I don't remember where I wrote it, but that bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
So she goes to visit her at some point. I think to ask. Oh yeah, when she was like going there to ask the mom, like, we know you knew Lena was pregnant. Like, who's the dad? Like, asking her questions. And she was being a bitch, which we kind of knew that from the 11 years ago. Like, they kind of alluded to their mom being a hard ass and just some of the things that had happened. But we had not actually, like, had an interaction with her.
Yeah.
Until they went to her and was like, hey, I thought I heard barking. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, they went to her, and she's like, first.
Yeah.
Second. Making them do, like, freaking ballet poses like a freaking drill sergeant.
Yeah. He's like, sloppy. Just like.
I know. It's like, mother, my freaking Achilles was just severed, you bitch.
Yeah, I'm also, like,
not
about
here
to be
for that.
Prima, bitch. Like, I don't need this.
Fuck off. Then she's horrific to her. Like, when she said it should have been you that died, not Lena. I think that's when I looked at you and I was like, oh my God. What is happening in this book? She throws a cup at her.
Water bottle.
Oh, a water bottle. I thought it was a cup of water. But a water bottle. And then this girl, Rachel, that's there with her, was like, I don't remember the mom's name. But she said, meh, whatever the mom's name is. And Allie was like, it's fine. She does it all the time. She just usually does it where no one sees. And it was just like,
yeah, and
crazy.
That scene made sense. It makes sense of another scene that we saw when Allie and Hudson see Juniper in the ballet class that she's been keeping secret all this time.
Oh, yeah.
Because older uncle can't go get her. So he's like, Hudson,
shit, I'm
really fucking sorry. You have to go get her. You're going to kill me, I know.
He's like, I'm just going to send you an address. Just go.
I'm just going to send you an address. And somehow Allie already knew about the class.
Yes, because
I can't remember.
They had a beach day. Allie went to Gavin's car to get her
and
hat.
She saw the ballet bag. She saw the ballet bag. Yes.
So one of their family outings, she saw some evidence. And so I think she followed them.
Yeah, so she was already at the class. Hudson pulled up and she's like, I just found out too. Chill out. You know, and they're watching. And the teacher does throw a water bottle. And she's like, no. And then that teacher's studio gets shut down because Allie like pulls the strings. Somebody. Yeah, I was like,
and she's like, there's abuse happening in this studio.
Man,
and it got shut down.
Fuck with the Rousseau girl.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. My gosh, no. And so that scene, when we see that, we're like, oh, this makes,
because that girl was trained, I believe, by the mom or at least alongside. Yeah.
That was the most intriguing part I found was her like Allie's like family storyline, because you get like the hint that her mom was this important, very famous ballerina in her day. Mm-hmm. She has 4 daughters that Lena was supposed to be, you know, her top shit, ends up passing away. And then Anne, which is the next daughter, ends up quitting basically because of the mom and becomes a lawyer, I think. Mm-hmm. And then it all falls on Allie to be like this. I mean,
Ava's there, but...
Well, we get to that, but it falls onto Allie first.
We do get to that.
As like, now she's supposed to be the top-notch ballerina of the day. Mm-hmm. And then like Ava is in her shadow and is very upset about it.
She's typical youngest child.
Mm-hmm. Very typical youngest child. But to the even more so, because I can't imagine someone sabotaging their sister in the same way that she did. Like literally, oh my gosh, I keep thinking of one thing in particular, and I'm like, oh, sicky.
We can talk about it, or at least what I think you're talking about. We can talk about it
when they find out who Daddy is.
Oh no. No, that's not what I was thinking about. So Ava, her backstabbing ways.
Which, I mean, I think it's hinted about really early on. Like, in all reality, the first few chapters, you pretty much can guess a lot of things dynamic-wise, because she mentions several times that Ava is very hungry to be in the same position that Allie's in.
Gung-ho
Yeah, and I think
about
she's
it.
like 2 positions below.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but
Yeah, she's like...
I feel like she's at an entry level.
Yeah, she's like,
position,
I think, and I could be wrong, I think it's like core, principal, solo, prima. Maybe.
I thought it'd be solo principal prima, but...
No, it is solo principal. You're right.
But
So Allie's principal now.
correct.
Ava, what the fuck ever, is 2
Eva.
below.
What's that from?
I don't know.
Wally.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
his robot lover?
Okay, you said
Eva.
that, and I thought,
Okay.
Yuta, which is from JJK. So
Oh,
we were
God.
on totally different, like,
Me? Child movie? You?
anime. Yeah, I was like, you've never seen that. I was confused. Anyway, she is like 2 rungs below, and they like share an Instagram account or whatever. It's not Instagram. It's called Seconds.
It's fucking TikTok.
It's got to be TikTok. Yeah.
You know how... Glad you didn't catch that either then. Because it took me forever to like realize that's what that was.
Seconds. I thought it was Instagram, but I guess it's
TikTok,
TikTok.
o'clock, seconds,
That
o'clock.
makes sense.
The end of the book, I was like, shut the fuck up. This is TikTok the whole time.
is
Yeah,
that what it is? I thought it was like some
Yes.
like ballerina
No,
social
I think
media
it's literally
page.
TikTok.
No, it's a TikTok, I guess.
Yeah, I
So
know.
they share this
I'm
social
assuming.
media.
That's pretty
no,
funny.
So it makes sense.
I know.
Because
This whole time,
there's
like,
videos and there's stitches. Yeah, no, it's TikTok.
yeah, the
Ballerina
whole time
talk.
I was like, oh, I guess this is some like social media for ballerinas I've never heard of.
No,
I'm
it's
so
based-
glad I wasn't the only idiot in this room.
It-
We all were.
I was thinking Instagram, but TikTok obviously makes sense. So like we're all realizing at the same time, guys. We're all doing okay. We're all doing okay.
Yeah.
But no, they share a page and like, what is her name? The youngest sister, Eva? Is that what we're
Eva.
saying?
Sure.
Eva.
It's fun now.
think it's spelled-
It's
is it-
EVA.
Yeah.
And so is that Ava or Eva? Eva does not sound like a name in my opinion.
I don't remember what her full name was, so that would probably help
they're
us.
all nicknames. Yeah. Okay. So Eva will post videos and like let people shit talk her sister like in the comments, and she won't stop it. And so Allie kind of already has like this, hey, like what the fuck? And she's always like comparing herself to Allie in like very subtle ways, or like, yeah. So you do kind of, like you said, like at the very beginning of the book, you do have an understanding that she's extremely jealous of Allie, extremely jealous of Allie. But I didn't think that she would take it as far as she
Oh my
did.
God, me neither.
Because first, when she takes the part that was made for Allie, like there's like another principal dancer, he choreographed this show where Allie is the lead. And you're
Yeah,
like,
it's like choreographed around
it's
her
around
abilities.
her skills, her abilities, what she does good. And after this all happens before her accident. So while she's healing, other girls are kind of trying to wiggle their way in. Now you think it's going to be this other bitch. It's like
Yeah, I don't remember her
pretty
name.
inconsequential.
Huh?
Caroline.
That's the sister's name.
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
She's pretty
I was like-
inconsequential.
I
It's
knew it
really
was
all
like
that
a
you
coastal
know.
town.
No, yeah, a coastal town.
God dang.
And then you find out that like Eva wanted to train for it, and she ended up stealing it.
No. Also, Eva came to visit her while she was healing, secretly recorded her while they were practicing,
Yeah.
and Allie was not all better, so she was weak, she was shaky, she was probably falling some, like, you know, when she's on point, she probably went down when she wasn't supposed to. Like, she wasn't her best by any means, but her sister was secretly recording it,
Yeah.
told the whole company that she works for, like, she's not getting
not gonna
better,
come
she's
back.
not gonna be able to come back, she's lying, blah blah blah, and then posted the videos she secretly recorded of her sister's not doing well, then blocked her, changed the password on this seconds thing, and so Allie couldn't get to it, and then took her part.
And then takes her part.
Actually, because when she was visiting with her sister and they were like dancing together, she was like, teach me some of the moves, like, let's do that.
Yeah.
Like, they were doing that.
Yeah. And Allie even talks about like
My
that's the
one
first
qualm
time
of this
she
book,
enjoyed
actually,
dance again.
is the word variation was used far too many times.
Yeah.
100%.
That's what it's called though.
I don't give a shit.
the
You don't even remember what it's called.
No, I know, but that was before I read it.
Whatever.
I do want to point out that that's the main crux of the romance plot line is like she's injured. She goes back to this town to recuperate, and she has a deadline with Hudson of like, I got to be healthy and back in New York to have my position for this.
Yeah,
by the end of summer.
The end of Classics, which is the showcase that her family puts on in this small town, which is like the catalyst of all of the shit that has happened in this book, is because of Classics. Car wreck, because of Classics. Yeah. But
Happened after it, but
yeah,
I wouldn't
but
say it's
they were in
because of
that
that.
situation because of it. They are in that town. No, I guess they moved to that town and then they started the showcase. I can't remember now. But I can't remember why I was saying that. I can't remember my train of
The
thought.
deadline.
The deadline. Yeah, Joe,
that's-
you're so
He
right.
said, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's like
I lost it.
that's the main crux of like the romance because like Hudson and Allie agreed to be in this fake relationship for Caroline, or that will last the summer as Allie starts to recuperate and also try to convince Caroline by manipulating her that Juniper should be in ballet.
Yeah.
So that's like the hard deadline. And Ava showing up at some point, or Eva showing up at some point to like steal the part basically and learn the part is kind of what starts a fire in Allie to be like, no, I'm going to be back to 100%. Because at this point she was kind of just milling around, not really recuperating correctly and not really deciding what she wants to do. And then when that happened, she's like, I have to do this. And then her best friend from New York showed up, which is a doctor.
Yeah, she was like the doctor /
company
PT
doctor,
of the company, yeah.
Shows up, and then they just start a like super hard
Rigorous.
regimen.
And the best friend's mom
Yes.
is
Who's also
a ballet teacher.
Who's also
Best friends with her mom, which is crazy
Yeah.
to me. The fact that that woman was married to, it seems like a decent man, and then had that friend, which she seemed okay, and she's a raging asshole, was crazy to me. But okay.
Yeah, but she exuded normal coach vibes.
Yeah.
You know, like
she's
no, I'm
hard,
going to push
but
you to be the
not-
best and I'm going to be a hard ass. But like, I
I'm
also
gonna
love you at the end of the
beat
day.
the shit out of you. I'm not
Mom
gonna
did not
throw
have
anything
that.
at you.
But also during this time, this is when Eva meets Juniper.
Oh, yeah.
And she sees Juniper and she's like, when the fuck did y'all have a kid? You know, like,
Whose is that?
whose is that? Because the Russo, like, family traits are so obvious or whatever.
Clearly not.
So
thin ballerina type.
If Gavin and Hudson couldn't piece that one together,
No,
that is
honestly,
a plot hole.
That is kind of crazy that they grew up with this little girl and they're like, oh, you look like, huh? Hey, you
Nobody
look
I
like.
know.
Yeah, no.
Not the girl I loved.
Not the girl I loved. Yeah. But her manipulation continues because she takes this information back to the company too. And she blackmails.
Oh, yeah.
She blackmails somebody so that she can get the part.
That's right.
that
That's
was
how she
originally
got the
for
part.
Allie.
Fuck,
Because
I
she's
forgot.
like,
I know
hey,
this.
I know this.
Bitch.
Who's been keeping the secret type shit. Oh my gosh, it made me sick.
She's disgusting.
When all of this came out, it came out in like such quick, like what Lena did, what Ava did to get to where she is now, like it made me sick. It was just so sad. So sad. And so sad.
I thought it was crazy that they were like, well, she's my sister. Like, I'll forgive her. I'm like, honestly, no. That couldn't be me. You're dead to me, sis.
Pretty quickly, she forgives her.
Yeah, she was like, meh.
Well,
I'm like, no.
there was a lot of public scrup, whatever that word is, that like she's gonna receive anyway. So I feel like Allie was like, I'm not gonna shit on you even more. Like our mom's done that enough. I don't know. I mean, if that's the only thing that you have left, like your mom's a piece of shit. You don't think you got your man, you know?
That's
like
true.
You lost everything. The only thing you have is
Your
your
dad
company.
died at some point. Did we say that?
I think it's been implied at this point.
Russo's dad dead. Okay.
Russo daddy did.
He died really early.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
never saw the man. He did.
Never.
He wasn't actually really mentioned other than that he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Which, I don't know how he married that one girl, so.
That's what I'm saying. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
But the timeline of her like forgiving was kind of crazy because like we get to like the end of the summer.
I'm still amazed that Joe has like
I know.
Like opinions. Like he read the fucking book. Guys.
He has read a book before.
This is amazing.
we get to like the end of the book or the end of the summer, and the whole getting back at Eva is like Allie is going to perform this solo act at the Classic.
Not tell a damn
Mike
soul. It's not in the program.
drop,
Oh my god,
bitch.
that is when I was like, Gavin's the one, because Eva comes into the show, sits, because the whole company, it's like sponsored,
Oh
I
my
think,
fuck,
by
I know
the
what you're
company.
talking about, yeah.
And so they come and sit in the row in front of Hudson and Gavin and Caroline, which how they got Caroline to that show is interesting to me, but that's okay. But
They just said that we're kind of skipping the summer
I'm
romance
sorry.
part.
At this point, she
It's
knows that
fine.
Juniper will be on
No.
stage, doesn't she?
No.
Oh, no.
No,
She thinks they're going to watch Allie.
Yeah.
so where the fuck's Caroline?
Yeah.
No, we're
I mean, the child.
Yeah.
Who has Juniper? All your babysitters are right next to you.
that is a good point.
That is a
Where
really
the fuck's your daughter, dog?
Bailey, that's a really good point. That is
I'm
a
like,
good
who
plot
do
hole.
you think has this child?
That is a good point.
That is a good point.
But
Anne's right there.
I thought
We're
you were
watching Allie. Brothers here, brothers there. Your mama lives in a different state. Who has your child?
Who has your child?
I thought you were trying to say like her being there at all is kind of weird.
No, well,
Because we
kind of,
kinda-
because who has her fucking child?
We skipped the whole description of the summer romance parts of like convincing Caroline.
Oh, yeah.
But
No, that
They
was
fake
good
dated,
too.
I mean, come on.
They fake dated. It was pretty good. It wasn't fake. They both like.
True. Well,
She tried to say it was. This has an expiration date, and he's like,
I
no,
mean,
baby, you
their
don't.
first date or two, Caroline, the Juniper's birthday and at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline could tell. Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly what she said, but Caroline pulled her aside and was like, that girl does not feel the same as you feel at all. Like, I'm not down for this. You're going to get fucked over. Blah, 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 blah. And that's kind of when he was like, I dated her when we were young. Like, I know her way better than you think I do.
they
Like,
didn't
you don't.
date.
Whatever. You're right. I was friends with her when we were young. We hung out behind everyone's back. Like, I've known her for a lot longer than you seem. I haven't known her for 2 months.
Yeah.
I've known her for 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
You know, I knew her for 1 year and then I never talked to her again. But, so she was kind of like, what? And then Allie overhears. Caroline storms off. They have a steamy scene in a shower. Sort of.
Yeah,
a
no,
bathroom.
the-
A beachside bathroom.
All of the steamy scenes were pretty nice, in my opinion. Pretty good.
nice.
It did not have the super flexible cliche sex.
That's what Joe was hoping for, and he didn't get it. He's like, I'm gonna read this book.
It's got ballerina in it.
She gonna do some weird
It's gonna be some
shit.
freaky shit up in here.
Yeah, it was pretty. Well, it wasn't normal, but
That's funny. So, another thing they did is to like prove to Caroline she was all in. Was like invited him to some event she had to go back to New York. So he went to New York for a singular event.
it was like a gala.
Yeah. And that's how she
Company
found
gala.
out like that Charlotte was vying for her part. You kind of see how the company runs and it's disgusting. Mm-hmm. You meet the guy who runs the company. I don't remember his name or his...
Vasily or something
Yeah,
like
some
that.
weird shit.
Yeah.
He was gross.
Yeah.
Right. Ugh. Allie is this... Ugh. At first I thought it was the choreographer she was sleeping with. And then I found out it was like the coach. And then... Or whatever. Probably not a coach, but we'll call it that. Director of sorts.
No, Allie didn't sleep with the...
No, I know, but that's
Oh.
how he was fucking acting.
Yeah, no, he was very like,
Oh, is
I've
this your
already
new-
had you type.
And it was weird.
No, Vasily, you get creep vibes from him like right out the gate, which like fit the stereotype more, you know what I mean? Like, come on. But no, and then you find out more of his shit down later. Disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole company is built on. That's why I think it was the most interesting part of the book was like the ballerina dynamics and all that. Is because like you get the idea that this company is so competitive and like everybody is basically fighting
They hate
each other,
each other.
tooth and nail,
Yeah.
and screwing whoever they can to get wherever they want.
Oh, yeah. They're sleeping with each other left and right. She's
Yeah.
sleeping with the choreographer before
Listen.
at the beginning.
It makes me disgusted. It actually makes me disgusted because everyone is like, Vasily is like, I treat you the way that I do as a favor to your mom. Come to fucking find out. Oh my gosh, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. Vasily's a piece of shit. POS. Oh my gosh, it makes me mad.
It makes me interested on like the
actual dynamics
of like that
culture.
sphere. Because like I don't know anybody that does that.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have any context to know if this is true. It's like reading the ones where you do like the sports romances that you guys have covered. Like I know a little bit more about the hockey universe because I have a friend that plays hockey. Mm-hmm. And then like certain things I would know more. I have zero context to know.
Same.
Yeah, same.
If this is true, if it's competitive that way.
Same.
How damaging it is to bodies, because obviously standing on point is
I've seen some ballerina feet.
Not good.
It is very damaging to bodies.
Huh. I mean, I feel like any rigorous physical activity like that is. Mm-hmm. Especially doing it like she is. But, ew, yeah, he was disgusting. Like, the way he acted, he was like, oh, is this your boy toy? Like, your current... I don't know. And then he talked down to him.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he said exactly, but she was like, actually... He does a really fucking hard job that, like, you could never.
Yeah, she's like, even has, like, the statistics.
Yeah, she's like,
even in ballet world, I'm only one of blankety blank, but he's one of, you know, like a such smaller number or whatever. I don't remember the fucking statistics.
She also ended it with saying, and he fucks great.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it was great.
Which I'm sure was great for his ego, you know? He's like
okay.
Oh,
which, did they at that point?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought they slept together right after that.
I can't remember. Either they had sex or he had made her. He had done stuff to her.
I see. Made her. Yes, more than once. Oh, yes.
Fill in the
That's
blank.
probably it. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, "Wait, did you sleep with this guy?" Because then the choreographer walked by and I was like, "Oh wait, no, you were fucking that guy."
Yeah.
So then I was confused because also Vasily was married. Because his wife was standing right there as he's saying all this weird shit. Mm-hmm. Anywho.
Yeah, the whole conversation was fucked.
What came out of that is her dance partner. I don't remember his name.
Everett?
I want to say it was Everett or something.
That sounds good. Yeah.
We'll call him Everett.
He was great.
He was great. He was actually a great friend, too. Like, he was a great friend. He was gay.
No, I understand that.
So,
I would
what do you
read
mean
his
a little
book.
too much?
His friendship with Lena.
Oh. Everett's?
Right? It was him?
No. Oh, he was a part of that plot line.
Oh, the plot. That's what. Oh, I'm sorry. That totally went over my head. Yeah, no, he was a little bit more willing than I think most people would be, but he was also like manipulated into it. And
by the mom.
By the mom.
You're right.
So I don't know if that was
You're right,
out of
I forgot about that.
Kindness of his heart.
Yeah.
But what we're alluding to jog your memory for those of you who have read, is that Everett pretends to be Juniper's biological father so that Lena can offer her up for adoption.
Yeah, he signs the birth certificate, signs away his rights.
Yeah.
And he's like...
So they find it and they're like, dude, you? And then he came, he's like, oh yeah, no. They just asked me to do that. Like, I don't actually know who the dad was.
Yeah.
So just when we think we got it.
There's several times we think we got it.
We basically learned that he was pressured into it from the mom.
Yeah.
To get into the school, right?
To get into the school, because he tried out at the classics, because this is like a competition to get scholarships or whatever, and he did
the top 5, 10,
I don't
20
remember.
maybe, but get scholarships to that prestigious ballerina school in the town that locals don't usually go to.
Yeah.
And that crazy mom teaches that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why he did it. He's like, all right.
No, I mean, we find out.
Let me do illegal activities so I can get into a dance school.
No, really.
Crazy.
We find out throughout the book, like, just how manipulative and how many awful strings were pulled in order to, like, get to where we are now. Like, everything that they know is basically a lie. In some form or fashion, something has been manipulated to be that way, or it has been lied to be understood in a different way. It's awful. Their mother, awful human being. How do you keep all that straight in your fucking head, too? Like, how do you know?
Yeah. Before we move on to like the main like crazy stuff, what'd you guys think of Hudson? Did you guys like him?
I loved him.
Okay. What'd you think?
He was fine.
He was my least favorite character. I did not like Hudson.
But why?
I felt like he was just not developed well.
I agree. I was like, he just wasn't well. I don't feel like he was very well developed.
Oh, really?
Of all the characters, he felt the most surface level. And there was like hints that there's something that should have been followed up with, like his death wish of like being reckless when he's like rescuing people.
And apparently had a good upbringing.
Yeah.
Which that's odd.
Like it's mentioned
You're
several.
like, oh, healthy family life?
Why are you so troubled?
It's mentioned several times that like he'll be reckless in trying to save people in his job, which he's like a search and rescue person for the Coast Guard. Mm-hmm. And his whole end goal is to be a part of Sitka, which is like the elite coastal guard people. I don't know specifically, but you have to go to Alaska and basically train.
I thought he just wanted to go to Alaska.
No, his whole goal is to be in Sitka.
I thought because he just wanted to be far away from home.
No.
Oh. I didn't know it was like a special
No,
place.
that was just his life goal.
Have you? Yeah.
But like it doesn't develop anything past that. It's just like that's his goal. He has a death wish for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I see that.
And he like immediately just is like, so like we get the first chapter in his perspective, meeting her for the first time, and then saying that she hates him by the end of the next summer. And then just immediately in the next chapter with Juniper, where he's going to meet her for the first time after 10 or 11 years, he's like really nervous, hates that he's doing this, is just like uncomfortable. And then immediately flips into, no, I'm going to convince you that we're in love together, basically. And I don't know. His storyline was the weakest to me. He just kind of filled the romance plot. That's what I feel like.
That's
I can
fair.
see that. Like he had not a backstory. Period.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely do see a lot more of Allie and like her backstory, and she does have like character development, and we like have like actual. Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
And then
He
like
was just
like,
a piece of meat.
He was more than a piece.
I know. He was more than a piece of meat. He was very kind. Like he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he obviously is a family-oriented person. Likes Allie, does all this, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that he was bad, but he did not have a backstory at all.
Yeah,
I don't think he was
right.
bad by any means. I think his storyline was just the least fleshed out.
That's fair.
Also, I just want to point out this painting behind Joe painted, and it's beautiful. You both looked the wrong way.
I did. I almost looked at the TV.
Yeah, they can't see it all in the video, but it is very, very pretty.
You can see some of it.
I'm going to cut that out.
Why?
Because I don't want to talk.
Because you're shy?
Yeah.
Then why'd you put it behind your head?
You told me to.
I said put something there, not your own painting.
That was the biggest thing we had at the moment.
Wow.
Anywho, so another one of their little date things, fake dating thing, they go on this like super fun family summer camping-ish trip
Oh, yeah.
where they have this, it looks like just like a camping lot. There's just a fuck ton of cabins, little cute little cabins in this area, and each like little family. So I'm assuming Caroline and Juniper got a cabin. The mom and dad got a cabin. Hudson and Allie got a cabin. I'm sure Gavin maybe has his own. I don't know. His deal. But
It's also with all their cousins and stuff, too.
I would say there was a
big
shit ton
family.
of them, but
Yeah.
that's really all the people we care about. But first of all, that's so cute. How fun.
Yeah.
Second of all, they go there for the weekend. There's like a tree with a little rope, you know,
Rope
classic river or lake
Yeah.
activity, a rope swing into said waters. So they're doing that. Allie does it with Hudson, which is a interesting little scene just because I don't want to say she's not outgoing, but kind of. She's reserved because her mom made her be. Like, all she ever did growing up was ballet, and you couldn't do anything else of the fear of getting injured. So she doesn't do crazy shit like jump out of helicopters into roaring waters like Hudson. So he, like, convinced her to do it. So that was cute little, like, overcoming a little obstacle. Well, then Juniper's silly little self does it while no one's in the water and tries to die.
Yep.
This bitch tries to die a lot, actually.
She actually does.
So she seemingly was drowning because she got caught, but luckily her dad, or not dad, pretty much, her uncle is part of the Coast Guard, so he taught her how to hold her breath for a really long time. He's taught her how to do stuff. She wears bright colored bathing suits so she can be seen, and he obviously jumps in and grabs her. But like after that, I thought it was sweet when Allie like looked at him like with like fear and was like, I love her. Because I mean, like,
I teared up at that.
Yeah.
Because he was
that
like,
was a cute scene.
Yeah, because she's like, oh my gosh, like I love her.
That was a pretty, when like, you know, Caroline being like, Hudson, like,
yeah.
That was a crazy scene.
Yeah.
I feel like it was be great for TV.
Yeah. Actually, I think a movie adaptation, I would enjoy this book as a movie adaptation.
Yeah, same.
Which I don't know if I've ever uttered those words before, actually.
I think it would be, yeah.
I agree.
It'd be a
movie.
good
I think it'd
movie.
be
There's a
a
lot of
really
drama,
good movie. There's a lot.
The Coast Guard thing.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
It would. I agree.
That scene was very good in my opinion.
Mm.
That was only part 1 of the Drowning Chronicles.
That camping trip was important too because that was also when Ava stole
Yeah,
her
so
part.
they, you know, that's when I feel like Allie is kind of like coming to terms with, okay, I might actually love Hudson. Like I kind of want something with him, this family. I love this little girl. Like I want to be in her life. And so the rest of the family leaves and Allie and Hudson stay an extra night.
Extra day, yeah.
Extra day.
Or I guess that also includes the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she gets home a day later, which she already was kind of hesitant on this trip. Like, that's 2 days without training. So they stay an extra day. When she gets home, they didn't have service. When she gets home, that's when she realizes the whole, like, Ava stole her part. She has texts galore. There's notifications galore. People have been trying to call her. I think her friend lands. Mm-hmm. Like, they get there and her best friend's there and was like, bitch.
Yeah.
Where you been?
Yeah.
And then she's like, something happened. And then she's like, is it Charlotte? And she's like, no, bitch, it's your sister.
Yeah.
And that's when she shows her the seconds clip of her kind of sucking. And that's when she's like, instantly shuts off, fuck Hudson, I'm training, pretty much, which sucked. Because it literally the night before was kind of her like coming to the realization. I felt like
that.
Bro, I know.
As soon as something good
And I was
happens,
just like,
you just know. You're like, all right.
I wasn't
Where's
expecting
the shoe?
I wasn't expecting it to be Eva, but
I wasn't either.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I wasn't either. There was so many like rich, and
Literally.
they landed.
Yeah, they were good.
They landed.
She said they landed.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
I think all that's left to talk about is Vasily.
You're just heated about him.
I'm so heated about it, and I keep beating around the bush about it because what?
I can't remember if this was in the cabin, actually.
Go ahead.
I think it was. When they're, like, you know, talking and revealing things, and she's, like, telling... Because I think she was talking to Juniper about ballerina, blah, 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 her fall. And she talks about her fall and how she, like, thought she saw something and misstepped. And that's why she got into the injury. And then Hudson tells her. That's when Hudson tells her.
It was me.
I was there. I came
there
to the show because of the certain Giselle or whatever that certain song or play was. Not play, song, variation, or however they like to say. He was like, you know, the last time you did that was the classic, and I was there. Like, I wanted to be there for that specific performance. So, turns out he was stalking her on Google forever, and he knew she was going to be in it, so he was there. He was there. He was in the seat.
But he wasn't in that seat.
Because he tried to buy it, and it was taken because...
And he didn't know.
Because she didn't specify to him how to receive
Ever.
the tickets to get the seat, which also
so
was like silly goose.
He bought as close as he could. Yeah. No, all of these little things that come out when it's like, no, actually Hudson was there the entire time. You thought he wasn't there? No, he was there.
And then that's when she told him, like, well, no one was in that seat because, like, that's part of my deal is, like, I reserved the seat. If you would have gone to will call and said your name, you would have gotten a ticket, which how the fuck was he supposed to know? But whatever.
Yeah.
And she said that. And at one point, he or her, one of them, if not both, said all these years. And I was like, it's giving after all this time. Like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Isn't it? All these years.
No, Yeah. That was so cute.
That was a cute scene.
It was.
And then that's kind of when they were like, okay, let's do it. And then, of course.
Yeah, there was so many cute scenes that we were like, see, like, this is the forever type shit. Like, this is the forever type shit. If you would just stop and chill.
Also, what kind of annoyed me, like, her, like, being like, no, I have to get that part. And work super hard. She has never said a positive thing about ballet.
No.
To that point. Ever. I'm like, you fucking hate it. And you do it to try to get something out of your mom that you ain't ever gonna get, boo. Yeah. Also, I would have cut her out way earlier. That's
no contact
talk.
So quick.
Crazy talk.
No contact so quick.
So quick.
So quick.
And I think now, knowing what I know, it was more guilt. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. But, yeah. I was so confused. That part of her was kind of confusing to me. Like, her, like, gung-ho-ness about all this ballet, going back, I have to be back, I have to be back, I have to be back. I'm like, you fucking hate it. Like, you've kind of said that. You don't like it. It's a terrible world. You wouldn't.
She never says she doesn't like it.
No, but.
She, like, at the beginning of the
she
summer.
alludes to how awful it is.
At the beginning of the summer, she, like, alludes to that she's upset with her, like, existence within the space because, like, she's trying to please her mother. And then throughout the summer.
That sounds like what I was saying.
She, like, that was kind of like her storyline changing is, like, throughout the summer, she's, like, changing the purpose of why she does what she does. And so, like, when she gets to the Ava situation, now it's, I want to do this because people are saying I can't do this. And she knows she can. And then eventually that changes to, you know, different than being what her mother wants her to be. And that happens at the end.
For sure.
No, the confrontation she has with Vasily and the confrontation she has with her mother, I think, is when you actually see. You see Allie. Like, when she's not trying to be anything, when she's not trying to fill a position, fill a role, or, like, make up for something, you see her. Holy shit.
Or be the perfect little daughter.
Yeah.
To try to get some validation that she ain't ever gonna get.
No, the conversation she had with her mom when she was like, you knew all this time and you stole her. You stole Juniper from us. You stole this ability for us to have a part of Lena. And her mom's like, it should have been you.
Bro.
Like, the only thing her mom can say is, it should have been you. And Allie's like, no, bitch. It, like...
Which also is crazy. Obviously, I think that's just awful of any mother, but to be like, well, Lena would have been a prima kind of thing. Maybe not. Maybe she would have been like Anne in 3 years and say, I don't want this life.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted her to live just to spite the mother. Wanted her to live, quit ballet just to spite the mother. Because I was like, you don't know that. Like, obviously, she died in this image, and you're going to keep her in that image for the rest of your life, and you build her up like she could have been this. But it's just so hateful to say to your other daughter, like, you're shit because you're not what Lena would have been when you don't know. You made her give up her baby.
Yeah, and the way that this baby even came into the world was also...
Do it. You go.
It makes me sick. It makes me sick. Lena...
Wait, we should set up
Joe's
this.
pissed.
So, like, at the classic, she performs this expedition.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. You're
right.
Piece, and basically wows the crowd, obviously.
He did.
They all go outside, Caroline included, with Ava. They all have this huge argument, and then somebody gave Caroline, or Caroline picked up a program and sees Juniper's on the program to dance. This starts a whole ordeal of she can't dance, and then we learn that there's conditions to the adoption where Juniper is, for the adoption, she signed that she was not allowed to dance, and also not allowed to seek out her biological family until 18.
Ever. No, she was not.
It was 18.
No. In the documentation, they said ever, but since they signed those papers, there are now laws and rules to where once you turn 18, you are allowed to seek them out. I missed that part then. You're allowed to seek them out. But I don't think that was a stipulation of Lena's. I think she just wanted them to never. But a law was passed that anyone over 18 can then seek out their adoption records.
And in this, we learn, because now everybody rushes in to now see Juniper is dancing on stage.
Stunningly.
And immediately everybody in their crowd is like, she looks like a Rousseau. And so now it gives away that this kid is probably like related to them in some fashion. Nobody knows. And so this starts the whole plot line of like, we really need to know the father because now he could come in and try to take her.
Well, because
the whole company is also there.
Well, because the mom was like, she can't know her biological family. She can't dance, right? And so, like, we're now in breach of contract. And Allie was like, don't worry about it. Like, my sister's dead, so she's not going to find out. Mm-hmm. And then the guy who signed the birth certificate is not actually the birth father. And so she's like, so you're telling me the birth father didn't actually sign his rights away? He can now come back and take my child. That's what you're telling... Like, that's what she's thinking. She's like, that's what you're telling me right now. Like, these are the words you're speaking to me. Like, that's what I'm hearing. And she's like, you guys fucked up. And so Allie then, like, fucking sprints. Like, she's like, I gotta figure this shit out right now.
Yeah, and that's when she goes to her mom, right? Or is that when she goes to Vasily? I can't remember in
she
what
goes into a closet with her best friend and the teacher for some reason. I don't know how they riddle it out.
Well, that conversation was actually very confusing to me. I think it was like, I'm saying this without saying this.
Correct.
And I need you to eye contact, communicate
figure
with
it
me.
out with me. But we aren't figuring it out.
And mom's best friend is like, yeah, I think you're on the right track. Like, that sounds like something
because
your
she was
mom
like, why
would
wouldn't
do.
Lena want her to do ballet? Who in the ballet, like, trying to riddle out
so
who it could be.
She gets Anne and the mom's best friend
that's right.
into the like supply closet, and they have this conversation where Lena or not Lena, Allie is basically spewing everything she knows and then bouncing it off everybody, and basically we learn what you can now talk about and complain.
It's literally just an assumption. I don't think they ever actually, until they get to him.
Yeah, so it's an assumption. They think they have an understanding of who the dad could possibly be. So from the reader perspective, we know that Anne is writing up a contract with her lawyer degree, and Allie is getting Eva to do something that she's like, it's not something you haven't done before. You're going to manipulate someone to get something that we need. So you're going to be on this with me. So they go to this after party thing.
Yes, same day.
Same day. All of this is happening in the same, like, span of time, bro. So it's after the classics. There's like a yacht party or what the fuck ever. And it's also where all of the dancers receive their contracts for the next X amount of years. So everyone knows that Allie's going to get another contract because she's Allie. And so she
just slayed on the stage.
So I thought it was, this whole time I thought it was Jacob. Like, I didn't know.
Oh, the son.
Yeah, I thought it was the son. And so when they let Jacob leave the room.
You were like, the fuck?
And Allie is now just talking to Vasily. And she's like, hey, Jake, can you send Eva in here? I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then.
That was the plot. That was kind of a plot twist because they had said Jacob several times.
It was, yeah. They were like, oh, it could be.
And so that was kind of a nod that, like, she was writing something in the background, and then you're like, oh, she was actually meaning this person.
Yeah, so she talks to Vasily, and I mean, at this point, I'm like, so the words aren't necessarily, like, here, but essentially, she's like, I know that Lena tried out, didn't get it, offered herself up to you, and you took her. You gave her the position so that she could be in the company by sleeping with her. She got pregnant, and my mom orchestrated all of you motherfuckers to do what you've done, and I know this, so here are your options. Here's an NDA that every single person who knows Juniper's biological father, you motherfucker, has signed. You can either have this or...
She never said her name.
She never said the name.
She didn't actually
She didn't even say the gender. Also,
she did not allude to who it was.
She was like, you'll never know anything about this child. You're right. And then I can't remember she was like, I just need you to sign this medical release so that we can make sure that the kid is good.
And sign your rights away.
And sign your fucking rights away, and you can have this NDA with all
Everyone's
of our signatures
NDAs,
on it.
yeah.
We're never going to fucking say a thing.
And if we do, you can come for us legally.
So this happens. He obviously signs, takes the NDAs. Bro, So I'm like, this
Which
is
is
sick.
also disgusting, but
This is sick because we
happy.
also learn in this moment that Eva also slept with Vasily to get the solo position that she got from Allie.
I did not gather that.
Yeah, she was like, this is the same thing that you did.
I thought she took the information about Juniper. Like, I know you had a baby with my sister, bitch.
I hope that's what it was.
Put me as a dancer,
I
slut.
read it as she slept with Vasily too.
She didn't know that at the time.
So she slept with him? Fuck. That's not where my brain went. That's
No, I mean,
no
I
wonder
think-
you were so heated. I'm like, why are you so mad right now?
Vasily having this, like, I treat you the way I do because of my respect for your mom. Obviously, you were either fucking obsessed with their mother so much they want to fuck all of her kids.
Which is disgusting.
Because
in my brain, I thought he was like the same age as the mom.
Yeah, no, exactly. So either you were obsessed with the mom and want to ruin her fucking kids, or you have no respect whatsoever.
Do you think Allie slept with him ever?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think she...
Because the way he was disgusting at that gala
No, I
made
think it's
me
kind of just like
confused.
like, I know stuff you don't fucking know, and like,
Yeah.
bleh, disgusting. But the worst part, actually of all of this, Juniper is right outside the door. She got it on the boat because she wasn't supposed to be there, but she got on the boat, being the little girl that she is,
Sneaky little
sneaking
bitch.
around all the fucking time. She snuck on the boat with a bunch of other kids that were performing at Classic. Overhears the entire conversation. Oh my God. So Allie thrusts the paperwork into Eva's hand, starts running, and then a swell comes and takes Juniper into the fucking water. And
Yeah,
I said,
the yacht.
this is when I out loud said, what the fucking shit? And this is when I grabbed my water and my snack. I said, I must go upstairs because I can no longer read around people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it made me literally sick. Like I literally went, that's when I stood up.
I thought she was going to die because that's like a Rebecca move.
Die?
That's Rebecca.
That is Rebecca.
Yeah. Rebecca. Freaking Klaus from Vampire
Have you
Diaries.
seen that meme?
You love Klaus. He's
I
his
do love
sister,
Klaus.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
He will yell Rebecca like that.
Rebecca. So like before Onyx Storm came out, people were doing memes of like whatever happens in this book. Like I don't want to, and it was Klaus. Rebecca. Anyways, that was
Love
so
Klaus.
funny. Anyway.
So I was convinced someone was going to die, which I mean, I guess Lena died, but meh.
we
We don't
knew
know
that.
her.
Yeah.
So I was like, she tried to kill Juniper twice. So I'm like, this time she is going to die.
Yeah, actually, I know. I'm like, come on. We're falling into the water again?
Get your shit together, Juniper.
Get your shit together.
See, I didn't.
You shouldn't
I
have
didn't
these
think
shaky
that.
legs.
I didn't think anybody was gonna die, but
Well, you haven't read Rebecca before.
when we get to the end, I'll explain what I thought was gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. But so
Oh,
Allie jumps in, the frigid fucking water, and she grabs
Hudson's near-ish.
near-ish. And Eva obviously sees this. She goes to get Hudson. So we know this is happening in the background. Allie finds Juniper. She's like, I'm treading water, like I'm good. Obviously Hudson's taught her, like, and they're swimming away from the ship. They're like, we got to get away from the ship,
Yeah.
first and foremost. And then they like face the ship. Anyways, they send like a little rescue boat out. I knew they were gonna get rescued because I just knew it. Like maybe hypothermia, maybe some time in the hospital, but like they were
Yep.
gonna get out of the water. So I wasn't really all that pressed about that. But I was like, really, bitch, you fell in again.
Again.
Like you went into water again.
Poor Hudson, dog.
Poor Hudson, because he's like, "Ah."
Motherfucker. Yeah.
And then he checks on him, and Allie's like, check on her, and he's like, he's got her. How about you? And I'm like, he loves her so much. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that.
He like, that's it.
That's it. Really, like I'm just this Vasily shit made me sick. Cause Lena was like 17 or 18, dude, and he was well into adulthood.
Yeah. The thing is also is
Because his kid seems to be their age. No?
A little older.
Because he works at the company too.
Yeah.
So he has to be an adult.
the
Bro.
thing though is like at this point, even with all this happening, Allie and Eva are both still willing to sign contracts to that same company.
True. Well, Eva did not sign one. She still is in contract. Her
She is
contract
still
was
in
not
contract.
up.
Oh,
So she was just
I thought the
fucked.
part of the deal she worked out that Eva was supposed to be in it, but I might have
If
been misremembering.
Allie
Maybe it was like a part
signed,
or
it
something.
would have been more likely that Eva would have been offered a contract. I
Oh, the
don't
contract.
know, but
I'm pretty sure Eva's contract still had a year left, but Allie's was up. Because I don't think they're all yearly. Like, I don't know how long these fucking contracts are. But he was trying to give Allie the contract. She had a shit ton because people saw her performance at the Classic. So she was like, give me the contract. I'll think about it or something. But in her brain, she was going back.
Exactly.
Which was crazy.
I thought that was the wild part. It's like
Same.
all this happened, and then they're like, well, we'll still go to the same company.
Listen, so there's still more to the story after this, too, which I thought this would be the end. It's not, because then she finds out some shit about Hudson, and she breaks everything off with Hudson, so she doesn't ever sign the contract.
Not that quick. So, like...
It's not that day.
No,
it's not that day.
She refuses to go to the hospital, and Hudson goes with Juniper, and then Gavin drops off Allie at her home.
Yes.
And then Hudson shows back up. They have sex.
Oh, that pissed me off, to be frank. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. They have sex in her, like, ballerina
Oh, it's the studio?
studio.
Not that
The studio
specifically.
sex?
It just makes me mad when, like, they have, like, a day or two left. Mm-hmm. And they both know they need to talk about some shit. And instead of doing that...
They fuck?
Yes. And I'm like...
They bang in the mirror.
In my brain, that's just, like, kind of manipulative and shitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
It's giving, like, Wreck the Halls when she was, like, trying to break up with him and they, like, fucked in the elevator. Like, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Like, rather than deal with, like, the actual consequences, like, let's just use each other real quick.
Yes. Like, that's how I felt. It felt disgusting to me.
Yeah. Well, then they go to bed, and he wakes up and has to leave or something. And I don't remember...
Work.
Oh, I remember what happens. He leaves,
Thank God.
and Gavin has to come back to pick up
His car.
Okay.
And then Gavin drops the news that...
No!
Yeah.
No?
No, you're right.
She goes to Gavin for some reason to, like, find him or...
No.
No, Gavin shows up there to pick up something. And I think it
But
was his
Hudson's
car.
gone, right?
Yeah,
Hudson's gone.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Hudson was still there.
Hudson had an emergency call or something. and
Okay.
had to leave.
Yeah.
But anyways, Gavin shows up and some conversation starts, and then eventually Gavin drops that he was there the night of the wreck or whatever.
Yeah,
he
Hudson was
like,
there the night of the wreck,
I'm
yeah.
the one who picked him up covered in your blood or some shit. And
Yeah.
She's like, my blood.
Excuse the fuck out of me.
My blood?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And he's like, I'm sorry.
Oopsie. I fucked up.
And then fucking
Peace.
dips.
He
And so
bounces.
she's sitting on this information while Hudson's at work or whatever. Hudson comes back and she starts talking in riddles. And he's
Bro,
like, if this
crazy
is in
riddles,
his
that-
POV,
She's
he's
cracking.
like, fuck.
We're breaking up. We're breaking up.
We're breaking up. And she's like, what? Like, tell me about the story.
And the whole time too, like whenever in Hudson's POV, he's like he alludes that something happened that night that will destroy this relationship.
Yeah. And
Which I think is a weak. I think this was another weak point. Like I don't think this was dramatic enough of a like thing. So the whole thing is he was so before the Classic or right after the Classic.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, he had this moment of giving Lena's ring to Allie to say that he was in love with her. And that was the whole situation with Lena, is that he was talking to Lena and Anne saw this and interpreted it.
And Lena gave him that ring.
And Lena gave him the ring because she wanted to say...
Fuck you to my parents.
Pretty much. And like... he gives the ring at this cove place, and this whole time Allie believes that she just never went to this cove.
She never made it, yeah.
Yeah, because of the car wreck. But in reality, they did meet at the cove. He gave her the ring and then was following them in the car as Lena and Allie then drove off the road and wrecked. And then he saved Allie over Lena. And that
Obviously.
was the big like to do.
But for some reason in Allie's brain, she has bits and memories, and she remembers talking to Allie and saying, or she remembers Lena talking to her and being like, protect what I left or some shit, and like seeing Lena walk back to the car and the car exploding. And then she doesn't remember anything after that. So she thought Lena did get out, and Lena for some reason was going back to the car, but turns out it was actually Hudson.
That was
got
going to
her
go
out,
get, yeah.
trying to go back to get Lena, but the car exploded.
Yeah.
Luckily, he was far enough away to not, I'm assuming, be hurt in that.
Yeah. And so in reality, Hudson stayed with her until the ambulance came because she's bleeding from her head profusely.
Yeah, that's right.
And so he's like holding his sweater up against her head, which is why he didn't leave her originally, is because she was bleeding so bad that he's like, I have to staunch sweater? This. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he was wearing a sweater. But he's like, no, I have to staunch this before I go back to get Lena. But that took too much time. So yeah, Lena. And so he lived with that. But he went back after, and the mom is who answered the door and was like,
he went to the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, is that where it was? He
I think it was.
It all happened in the hospital.
Yeah, it was
and
at
the
the
mom
hospital.
was like, no, you need to leave and never talk to her again, or else I'm going to tell Allie that you had plenty of time to go get Lena and you decided not to. And he's like, little 18-year-old boy, obviously like, what? So he doesn't. But the whole time he was there. He was there. He went to her. Her whole thing with being upset with Hudson this entire time was that she got in a wreck, her sister died, he never showed up. He was there when her sister died. He was with her. He's the one that saved her fucking life, but her bitch ass mom fucking ruined this shit for her, dude. But then she's like, if you can keep all this from me, like, I can't trust you. So then she's like, this is the definitive moment. No. And then he just decides to sit it out. I'm like, no, when he showed up at the dance studio and she's like all there with her friends or whatever, and he's like 5 paces away, no, bitch, run. What are you talking about? Give her space and time. No girl wants space and time. No one wants space and time. They want declarations of love. Okay? Declarations of love. He should have declared his love. But instead,
I think she would have been pissed. She needed to
at least
process
make
that
your
trauma.
intentions known. Leave a note on the door. Hey,
Maybe. Yeah, send her a text.
I'm willing whenever you're willing.
Hit me up whenever you're ready. Yeah, I can see a fucking note.
A fucking note on the door.
Yeah.
Give it to the doorman if you can't get in.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No. And then 6 weeks go by or some
A
shit.
long time.
A long fucking time.
Which-
He moves.
Well, that one was weird too because it
Alludes.
alludes to him packing up and moving to whatever the closest station is to New York to be closer to her. And then at some point during her time in New York, she realized she never signed the contract. She was there working, doing stuff, but she never actually signed it.
There was a scene between that explains it. Like he
Explains
goes
what?
to the so they like break up or whatever because he lied about this, and then she goes to New York to fulfill her role that she is now, worked for and becoming like the solo artist in this dance or whatever it's called. And then he shows up in New York and is going to go talk to her.
That's
So
what
she
I
was just
mean.
talking about. But he didn't go. He didn't talk. He
saw
piddle
her.
farted around.
No, that's what I was like. No, run. Like run to her. You see her. She's not that
She's
far
right there.
away.
I kind of get it. Like he sees her happy. That's the thing. It's like this whole time is like
Supposedly, yeah.
She seems
looked
depressed
happy.
in the beginning of the summer, and by the end of the summer, she seems excited to do what she's being training to do.
Again,
and she
yeah.
sees her happy in this position, knowing that he won't be here for this. So he's like, why get her, like,
Yeah.
destroy her feelings or whatever for him moving
For
away.
him,
Because
in his brain,
at
he's selfish.
this point, he had already gotten his orders to go to Sitka.
But I truly think it alluded to him moving to New York.
It totally alluded to him.
It
moving
alludes to that.
I
But
know.
he did
but
receive his Sitka.
It alludes to
Because
that.
that's where he
yeah.
he's like, I need a favor. Like, I need to call in a favor. So I always thought the favor was him asking for New York.
Well, because whoever texted him said, I heard you're trying to go to New York.
Yeah.
And that's when he was like, yeah, I need to call in a favor. So that
Yeah.
made us think, oh, he's calling
gonna
in
go to New York.
But I think he was assigned New York.
He was assigned Cape Cod.
Then why did he say, like, whatever? I don't know what he was assigned, but because I don't know, I was just confused with the moving thing. But then, yeah, I think the favor was
Moving to
JK,
Sitka.
take me to Sitka.
Yeah, and I guess
is
that was to
crazy
give
there
her
was a
enough
position.
time and space or whatever.
Hella space.
Literally an entire country's worth. Like,
for
what
real.
the fuck?
For
No,
realsies.
but eventually she wakes up, you know, she's like,
I hate it here. I don't want to do anything without Hudson.
you know, like the normal, you know, that happens. So she goes back to Cape Cod, and she's like,
These idiots don't know how to use a fucking phone.
no, because it was going to be a grand gesture.
No.
She says that. She says it's supposed to be the grand gesture. Or
I
whatever.
know, but I'm just like, how'd that work out for you?
So then she finds out,
Honestly.
like, oh, from Caroline, and you still think that he's in New York because she's like, oh, you should have called because I would have told you that you were going in the wrong direction. And so you're like, huh? So we know he's not in Cape Cod. He moved. There was like a whole scene about that. It actually wasn't that important of a scene, except Anne came back. She's living in Cape Cod permanently now to help Caroline raise Juniper because Caroline can't do it by herself. Blah, blah, blah. So we switch out Hudson for Anne, which I thought was so sweet. I did tear up. But that's like the only important thing that happens in this intro. Yeah. And so Allie buys a car.
Yeah.
Pops her little doggy up in the car, packs all of her shit up,
We
and
never
starts
talked about
driving.
the dog.
It's not important.
It's not important. Yeah, Sadie, the dog, she's not important. She was,
I
yeah.
just imagine one of the 1-star reviews being like, the only good character was the dog.
No, really. Actually, that probably
help with her
exists
depression.
out there in the ether. But so she drives all the way to Alaska. That's her big
Let's
grand
look.
gesture. And then she ends up in Alaska. And he's like,
With
What
him.
are you doing here?
because
you
like,
stupid?
what do you mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Like, obviously, I'm here to declare my love. And also, did you not notice the car's full of my shit?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, I do get his perspective in that. Like, she hadn't said, like,
She's nothing.
Yeah, she was not very good at using her words and, like, saying how she feels or what she means. And so he's like, I'm going to need you to say some words at this point. Like,
yeah.
you've been fucking around this whole time. Like, spit it out. What's happening?
Yeah.
You need to admit it to yourself, too.
Yeah.
Probably.
But then that's the end of the chapter, essentially, as they decide they're going to be together forever. And I say,
And she's going to be like a
freelancer.
freelance.
Yeah, so
dancer.
just, like, pick up a couple
Which is
weeks
crazy
at a
that that's an
time.
option. She's like so good that she's like, I want that role. And they're like, here you go.
Yeah,
Like,
so she
what do
goes
you
for a couple
mean?
weeks at a time while he still does his saving people's lives shit.
Yeah.
But the elite version.
But the elite version.
Elitist. There was one scene that reminded me kind of Unfortunately Yours,
Okay.
where he leaves to go to work. It was right after the cabin thing, and she's like, no, I have to train. She shuts Hudson out until I think he went to work one day or whatever, and there was a really bad storm. He, like, didn't come home kind of thing. He came home late or something like that. And she's, like, sitting on his porch waiting for him to come home. And she was sitting there for hours, like, icing her feet or whatever. But it just reminded me of in Unfortunately Yours when he went into the water to save that family in the van. And then afterwards, she's like, oh, my God, JK, I love you.
Yeah.
It was giving that.
It was giving. I do remember that now, but I've forgotten that
It always
moment.
takes a near-death experience.
It's a near-death experience. It's crazy.
That's all I can think of. Oh, my God. Just kidding.
The epilogue.
No.
Oh.
So, at the towards the end, I can't remember exactly the time frame versus the vastly, whatever. Once they find out the dad and all the bullshit, everything that happened with her mother, she goes to see her mom again
Oh, yeah.
And then we find out.
and confronts her ass and was
Yeah.
pretty much like, fuck you, shut up, I got some shit to say.
Before you say that, any conversation with the mother was very short. So
I was about to say that.
oh, I thought you were just going to jump to what
No.
it was. Okay.
I didn't notice it. I thought she was just being a C
Bitch.
word.
Same.
A C word in the first ones. But no,
Same.
this last confrontation when she was whatever, I was like, what the fuck is this mom doing? Like, I remember being so confused about the mom being short, giving one-word answers, but in a weird, stuttery way.
Yeah.
I was like, is this bitch... I thought at first she was having, like, some weird panic attack where she could only, like,
See,
voice one word at a time. Like,
That-
because Allie said, like, she gets anxious like me and chugs water or some shit like that. So I was like, are they trying to allude to this woman having a panic attack?
Yeah.
and her not being able to breathe or speak or like what the fuck.
See, I thought that too, and I also thought at some point that I just missed that she was like an immigrant and couldn't speak English.
No, like that scene was because you're like, as a reader, typically you know things that like the characters in the book don't know.
Yeah.
And so there's a few times that Allie says to Hudson, if only you knew about, and then she didn't say it, and you're like, what, bitch? So this like instance with the mom that you're talking about was like oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it turns out her mom lives in an assisted living home and she has like dementia. So the whole time that we're like thinking she has a class at 2.
Yeah, because it said session.
Who the is she? What?
Because it would say session.
It was all based on just
lie.
memory
The mom
care.
just thought she was.
Yeah,
They were just telling the mom that because that's what she
Exactly.
thought, but she wasn't doing shit. She wasn't at this school.
I
She was at
assume
a
not.
fucking. She was in her bed. But I was like, what?
Yeah,
and,
no.
And that's who Rebecca is like a nurse.
Rachel.
Not Rachel, my bad.
Yeah, you
she's
think
a-
she's an assistant this whole fucking time.
Yeah,
I thought she was her assistant. She's her fucking nurse.
She's her fucking nurse. And it
Oh
doesn't,
my god.
it doesn't actually dawn on you until they talk to the doctor. And then the
Yes.
doctor's like, oh yeah, well, it's
She's
going
getting
downhill
worse.
fast. And you're like, wait,
What?
I actually went back to the first conversation
that's
with
smart.
the mom. And I was like, no, Rebecca Yarros did an amazing job of using words to suggest that she is where the daughters are telling the world that she is, which is a very elite like boarding school for ballet
Yeah.
dancers of sorts. Like, no, she convinced even the readers that that's where she was. So no, this scene was so whoa.
It also
So,
it also like shows why they were so concerned about the medical history.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
they mention it several times about Juniper.
Yeah.
Like they need the father for the medical history.
Yeah.
Because they have this medical history.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
And I always thought that
'Cause I
was
was like, y'all are tripping.
chill.
Yeah.
Like, it's chill.
Like, yeah, it's important, but damn.
Yeah, like Lena died
Calm
in a
the
car
fuck down.
crash, not cancer. Like,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I think their dad died of something too, though. I don't remember what, but obviously he died young,
Yeah.
so it had to be
he's not around.
something.
But I thought, so going back to what I said earlier, I thought it would end differently. I thought either Hudson would die or get like seriously injured in some aspect because like I said, he was being painted as this person that was being reckless this whole time. And I was like, well, I could see him dying, but it kind of doesn't fit
But
like the end of the book.
it fits Rebecca.
It does. I
But also, I also thought they wouldn't end up together, or it'd be like 10 years later.
No.
They find each other again.
I really thought, like, oh, fuck. Like, they're not going to end up together. Like, I was like, is this a romance? Like, does
You're
it
like,
actually
was I
say
cool?
romance?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Unfortunately, I read like a review before that said like this one of hers ends in a happy ending, and I was like, oh, okay. But I do remember thinking like towards the end, like I don't got a lot of pages left.
no,
So I do feel like the reconnection was also kind of rushed, but also like I don't know what else could have been written.
I mean, yeah, what else
at
could have
that point,
happened, you know?
I thought it could have been like they don't end up together at all, or like the epilogue is like they randomly meet back
Oh
at
my
Cape Cod.
god.
You're like a 5-year down the line,
Yeah.
like they bump into each other, and it's like, actually, like, she's not a dancer anymore. He had his 3 years in Sitka. Like,
He
okay,
moved
maybe
back.
we can try now.
Yeah, like
She's
She's like opening a studio or something like that.
Yes.
I 100% thought that's how it was going
I
to end.
100% thought, because I was like, no way they're both going to give up their dreams.
Well, quote unquote to Hudson, dreams can change.
Yeah,
That honestly made me tear up.
dreams can change.
I was like, that's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, no. It was very good, but I am...
I can see why she wrote a fantasy book, though, just based on the plot of this book. Because, like,
You gonna
like
read
I
it
said,
now?
Probably at some point. You want me to,
I know, I've been so annoying about it.
but like I said at the beginning of this, like the plot of the book was really well written,
Yeah.
and you can tell that there were certain times where I'm like, okay, if this was not a romance book, you could fill in a bunch of more interesting things.
Yeah, no, it was actually really, really good. Yeah. This is my first.
Has 4.2 on Goodreads.
Yeah, I actually rated it on Goodreads, which I never rate on Goodreads.
I know, I saw it before this, unfortunately.
Oh, I apologize. I should have waited. I'll do that in the future. But I did see that it was like a 4.2, and I was like, yeah, no, that tracks. That tracks. It's good. Yeah. It's good.
It was my first romance. It was my first non-fantasy from her,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah,
and I liked it, and I want to read more.
I think I'll go back into some of her other contemporary works.
I think those are sadder, though, so
I have heard.
Prepare your soul.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very good.
What do we read next time? We are reading another book next time. We're like flipping the fun in the book one, so.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. I actually read it prior to us deciding we were going to read it. We both read it prior to us deciding we were going to talk about it on the podcast. So I am excited because I read it for pleasure, not thinking I was going to talk about it, which
It's a different experience.
It is a different experience. So that was nice having that. And I think it's our second Allie Hazelwood talking about it. The third Allie Hazelwood on the podcast. Man.
What are the other two?
Days. Don't put me in that position.
The one you're thinking, don't say that one.
Yeah, it's not Love Hypothesis.
Yeah, it's Love Theoretically.
And?
Bride.
There it is.
Yay! Yay! So very excited for next week. Well, next bye week. You know what I'm saying.
Next time.
And then the episode after is our March Madness episode. So we're really excited for that one too. It's going to be a fun episode, and it's going to add a lot of work for Mr. Joe over there. So everyone send him your good thoughts.
Well wishes.
Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, listening, and following us on Instagram at Our Book Boyfriends Podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.